Hey, this is Mr. Ng going over the Math 5 Chapter 1.1 test, 1.1.1 to 1.15, October 8, 2019. This is versions C and B. Directions: show all your work in the space provided and box your answers. Question number 1, what is the vertex of the graph? So the first thing you should recognize, if you had your foldable, which I don't have mine, but there's no parentheses, so this is standard form. In standard form, you find your vertex by finding your x value is negative b over 2a, and then your y value is just your answer for the x, putting into your function. Let me show you your b values. So ax squared plus bx plus c. And then, let's see, where are we? Sorry about that. So your b value is 8. Your a value is 2. And you have 8 over 4, which is negative 2. Then you take negative 2 and you put it back into the function. So f of negative 2 equals 2 times negative 2 squared plus 8 times, just putting in there, negative 2 plus 3. And then I'm going to do PEMDAS. So this would mean exponents first before multiplication. So that's 2 times 4. 8 times negative is negative 16. And then addition, subtraction, left to right as I see them. So this would be 8 minus 16 plus 3. So negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5. F of negative 2 equals negative 5. And that would be choice D. Now, you could have saved yourself some time and recognized the only x value that has negative 2 is choice D. Question number 2. Question number 2. We need to match the following by putting one letter underneath the graph. One equation will not be used. So I have 4 of the choices here, and I have 4 graphs. Some things you can mark on there is something like this. Let's say A is negative because it's going down. A is negative number, and this one A has to be a positive number. Okay, something else that I see is that maybe if this was a Y-intercept of maybe like 20 or 21, and then here you have factored form. And it's not super nice, but you could say P is equal to 2 and maybe Q is equal to a negative 2 or something close to that. Okay, here I'm gonna probably say my Y-intercept is a negative number. This one has a counting by 2, 4, 6, 8. So this would be 10. So I have a Y-intercept of 10, so that's a C value. And then I have a P value that's negative 1 and a Q value that is negative 5. So a bunch of information I can get from the graph, so let's go through those. Let's look at A. A has an A value that's positive. This one's negative, negative, negative. So I already know that's the answer. To C, the answer is A. To double check that it's the answer, remember it is the opposite of what you see in here that tells us the x-intercepts, because this is factored form, because there's 2 sets of parentheses. A times x minus P, x minus Q. And in class, we practice working on changing those to negatives, right? So you would get a P value that's negative 1 and Q value is negative 5, which we have here and here. Okay, 2 options here. Let's look at this next one. Negative positive y-intercept. So this one's standard form, and that c value is the y-intercept, making x 0, and you find the y-intercept. So 0, 21. Our a value is negative, so that matches. If I got this graph here, I just have to look at these two. Something I forgot here is that our vertex is -4, -2. Okay, these both have a negative. Now, these are not the y-intercepts. Those are the k values, or hk for vertex form. So my h value here is going to be -4 and -2 for k. And this one is a -2, -4. Remember, it is the opposite. If you need to always write it above it, you can. And then it's a times k minus h squared plus k. So a is negative, your h value is a -2, and your k value is -4. So -4, -2 would just be this one. So my answer is going to be GHA. Let's go ahead and go on to question number 3. Fill each blank with one letter. So vertex form has, we see one set of parentheses. There it is. There's 2. This one is none. And this one is not in parentheses, those are absolute values. So this is vertex form. That would be G. Intercept or factor form, looking for 2 sets of parentheses. That would be letter choice M. And standard form has no parentheses. That would be this one. That would be H. GMH is our answer. Let's go on to question numbers 4 to 7. For questions 4 to 7, identify and circle as linear, quadratic, exponential, or neither. I have a straight line here. That would be linear. This graph's a little bit tricky in that when you're finding your common difference, the left side is supposed to be counting by ones, but we don't have that. So I'm going to write -4. I'm going to just count this one by ones over here, and then fill in what I do have. So we have -5, 0, -4, -3, 0, 5, 1, 12, 2, 21. And I can see what's happening over here, so let's see if this works. This is +7, and this one here is going to be a +9. So I'm going to guess that this one from here to here would be a +5, which would be a 0. And then here to here is a +3. So +3, +3 would mean going to -3. Then here to here would just be +1. So that would be -2. Or -2 plus 1 gives me -3. No. -3 minus 1 is -4. -4 plus 1 gives me -3. And then you'll recognize that this is a +1. From -3, that's a -1. And then 0 to -3 is -3. Okay. So I got all that, and then the reason why is that this is your first common difference. This would be linear if they were all the same, but it's not, so it's not linear, no. Then here, the reason why I expanded the table so you can recognize that they're all a +2. So we have a second common difference. Second common difference is quadratic. Question number 6, when your base is a number and then your exponent is a letter, that is called exponential. Eloise is worried that her secret got out. On the first day, she and her best friend. So I like to make a chart. Day 0, who knows the secret is just Eloise, or Elo we call her. The first day, then it's her and her friend. And if you want to think about it, this is Elo and then her friend. We're the only ones who knew about it. But now, 2 new people are finding out the secret every day. So over here, I'll make it over total. So it's just Elo, and then Elo and her friend. And then she's adding 2 more people. So these are the 2 new people. But if you add that to, it's really Elo, her friend, and the 2 new people. So that would be 4. And then the next day is these 2. Elo and her friend. You can't see that. Let's try that again. The only day is just Elo who knows the secret, so it's a total of 1 person. But it says on the first day, so day 1, it's Elo and her friend, so it's a total of 2 people. Then if this is Elo and her friend, and it says, but 2 new people are finding out the secret every day. So these are, whoops. These are the 2 new friends. So that's a total of 4. So Elo, her friend, her original friend, and then 2 new people, that's a total of 4. And then Elo, her friend, the first 2 friends, and another 2 friends. So then we have 6. So there's my chart. The relationship between the number of days that have passed and the total number of people who knew about her secret. So something I think on the first day, so it's her best, she and her best friend. So let's take away the very first day, because then here I get +2. And so first common difference tells me it's linear. Another way I know it's linear is she and her best friend were the only people who knew about the secret. 2 new people are finding out the secret every day. That's a rate, so 2 every day. So that would be linear. And then the extra credit question. What are you doing this weekend? Whatever it is, it should be fun, safe, and legal. So +2 extra credit points if you have all 3 of these words. 1, 2, 3. And then +1 if you just have one of those keywords. So let's count out the total for the page. This problem, we said there are 2 points each, so this is a total of 6. 2 points each, 6. 2 points each, 6. Multiple choice 2, and then first name and last name, so you have 4, 10, 10, 16, 22 points for the first page. All right, now to the back side. Make sure to show all your work in the boxes and box your answers. Analyze the graph. So here's the graph. Then circle the function which could model the graph. Describe the reasoning you use to either eliminate or choose the graph. We kind of worked on these in class. All right, so the first one, that just means the 8th function. Remember, we had a bunch of functions, but some things you could do is you can just graph this one and then see if it matches our graph. So I'm gonna write the form, but before I write the form below it, I'm gonna have to change that plus sign to a minus sign. And then I can write the form below it. And then I can clearly see all the characteristics. So my A value is negative, so that means graph is opens down. My H value is -6, and my K value, which is, that should be a 3, so my K value is 3. So I have a vertex at -6, 3, so that would be left 6, up 3, and it opens down. So my graph's probably gonna look something like this. And then if I compare it to the graph, that is the case. So I'm gonna circle this bad boy, and now I'm gonna describe the reasoning. The child function opens down. So notice I'm not saying negative. Opens down. And, so this is that first clue. And number 2 has a vertex in quadrant 2. This matches the parent function. So remember your quadrants, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's look at the next one. I have standard form. I recognize that the B term's missing, so I'm going to put that there just in case I need it. And then I can write the form right below it. And this can tell me all the characteristics. My A value is positive, so that means it opens up, right? And then my B value, this should be a 0. My C value is negative 8.9, so that means a Y-intercept of 0, comma, negative 8.9. Let's go ahead and graph that. So a Y-intercept at negative 8.9, like this. And it opens up. I don't know, it could look like something like this. Now this graph, our parent graph, could actually cross at a negative value. That's a negative number on the y-axis, right? So you could have a negative y-intercept, which matches ours, but not the opening. So we can say this does not match the parent function. Here's my explain word, because the graph of the child function opens up when the parent function opens down. Remember, the common mistake is just trying to say this graph is negative and this one's positive, but remember the word negative can be multiple things, such as the y-intercept. All right. Let's go on to the next question. Determine whether the two expressions are equivalent or the same. Show your work. So here I have n plus 2 squared plus n squared minus 4. So the first thing I'm going to do is this one right here, n squared plus 4. That's right. Let's draw a box. And I have n plus 2 and n plus 2. Remember, that just means n plus 2 times n plus 2. Excuse me. N times n is n squared. N times 2 is 2n. 2 times n is 2n. 2 times 2 is 4. N squared, combine like terms now. So we multiply first, and then you add. Don't forget those two, and then combine like terms. 2n squared minus 4 and a positive 4 equals 0, and you're just left with plus 4n. On this other side, I'm just going to distribute, so I get 2n squared plus 4n. Yes, the expressions are equivalent after simplifying. Determine is a yes or no question. Okay, last one. Hyatt Home Improvement uses H-shaped tile designs on their buildings, advertisements, and vehicles. The designs they follow are a specific pattern. The first 3 designs are shown. All right, so when I look at this, I see design 1, and then I see kind of one box here in the middle. And so if I count them up, I have 3, I have 7. And then design 2 has 2 by 2 here. So I count them up. I have 8, 8, 4, 4, 4, so that gives me 12. Design 3 has 3 by 3 in the middle. So this would be 9 plus 5, and 5 is 10, so I have 19. Now, the first thing is to draw design 5. So I'm going to have to draw 5 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to make the H. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that line's not supposed to be there. Just do it like that. Art lesson. Just make them super bold. You can cover up your mistakes. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 25 in there. And this is going to be 5 plus 6, 7. And that one is 7. So it doesn't tell me, but 32, 39. So if I had 5, I have 39. So here, 3, this is a plus 5. This is a plus 7. So I'm going to guess plus 9, which gives me 28. And then just to double check, that gives me plus 11. So that does work. So I completed the table there. Second common difference. So first, second, so I know it's going to have to be quadratic. Circle 1, quadratic, explain. Second common difference of, well, here's just plus 2's, of plus 2. Write an algebraic expression to represent the total number of spaces in design N. Okay. So I have standard form, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And then my a value is equal to your common difference divided by 2. So our common difference was 2 over here. So 2 divided by 2, therefore a is equal to 1. Now, to get your c value, you're going to have to work backwards. So this is a 0, and this I know is going to be plus 3. And I already know it's quadratic, so that has a second common difference. So if you work backwards, something plus 3 equals 7, or 7 minus 3 gives you 4. 4 plus 3 gives me 7, so my c value is 4. Now, next thing is to pick an order pair, and I'm going to pick 1, 7. So you could pick any order pair. 0 should work if you wanted to. That would have been an easier one, but I already circled it. So 7 equals 1 times my x value is 1 squared plus b times 1 plus 4. So that becomes 7 equals 1 squared is 1, 1 times 1 is 1. B times 1 is just b, and then you have the 4. 7 equals b plus 5, combine like terms, subtract 5. b is equal to 2. So I have y equals 1 for your a value, or just x squared, plus 2x plus 4. And this is my algebraic expression. How many squares are in design 8? So you could expand that, but just be easier if you just put it in with function notation. 8 squared plus 2 times 8 plus 4. So I'm using what I created here. 64 plus 16 plus 4. So that's 20. That gives me 84. F of 8 equals 84. Use the algebraic expression to determine the total number of squares in design 51. So design number is equal to x. (51 times 51 gives me 2,601. That is 102. So if I add 102 plus 4, I get 2,707. Let's count the points. 4, 4, so this is 8. Got 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. So 8 plus 11 gives me 19. Then 19 plus 22 gives me 45. So the multiple choice on the front is 22. That was wrong. And then 19. Multiple choice on the front is 22. And that gives us a 41. Hope that was helpful.
Math.
Say it again.
Our math.